This evening, first, tensions erupt outside GPHC during autopsy. A tense scene at the Georgetown Public Hospital today as Adrianna Young's body underwent an in-depth forensic autopsy. Grieving citizens clashed with security, demanding answers, while medical teams inside worked to uncover the truth behind her tragic death. Plus, opposition walkout and protests. Tempers flared in Parliament today as opposition Member of Parliament staged a dramatic walkout, joining protests outside the police headquarters and the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. They're demanding justice for Adrianna and sweeping reforms inside the Guyana Police Force. Why was their urgent petition blocked from debate? Also, Jagdeo responds to U.S. drug report. Vice President Bharrat Jagdeo says Guyana is winning key battles in the fight against drug and corruption. But while Washington praises Guyana's progress, Jagdeo warns the opposition against focusing only on the negatives. We'll break down what the latest U.S. report says and what is left out. And clear the road or lose your track. Public Works Minister Bishop Edgehill has issued a final warning to business owners and heavy-duty operators. Remove your vehicles from Georgetown's green spaces or face confiscation. The crackdown on illegal parking and roadside mechanic shops is set to begin. Finally, deadly explosion in Iran. Chaos and devastation after a massive explosion at Iran's largest port kills at least 40 people and injures more than 1,200. We'll have the latest on the investigation and international reactions. Stay tuned, these stories and more coming up on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for April 28, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, a tense scene unfolded at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation today as the body of 11-year-old Adrianna Young underwent a forensic autopsy, a critical step in the investigation into her tragic death. Early this morning, Adrianna's body was transported from the funeral home to the Balwant Singh Hospital, where a full-body forensic CT scan was conducted. Government pathologist Dr. Nihal Singh explained that such scans are crucial in detecting internal injuries and fractures that might otherwise be missed during the autopsy. 3 foreign pathologists alongside local experts conducted a post-mortem examination today, which officially began at 12:30 and was scheduled to last for several hours. Dr. Caleb McLaughlin, part of the post-mortem team, stated that results would first be shared privately with the family before any public disclosures are made.
A normal autopsy may take like half an hour, the ones that we do here in Ghana, but it's a forensic one, so it might take up to 4 hours. Secondly, you may not get those results immediately because, first of all, after they're finished, the pathologist will meet with the relatives, which is only just.
Will they be meeting with the press?
So report the findings before anything else is being released to the press.
He further explained that this post-mortem examination would take several hours since it would be more in-depth.
In a normal post-mortem examination, you just see, depending on the person has a head trauma, you might just see like them checking the skull, opening the skull, or just opening the chest cavity. In this case, it will be more in-depth, as in there might be more cuts on her hands, more cuts about the body, more than usual. So will be a bit more for persons who can't stomach stuff a bit more in depth.
Outside the hospital, crowds of grieving citizens and protesters gathered, demanding justice for Adrianna. Emotions flared when a security guard reportedly punched a woman attempting to enter the hospital compound, sending shockwaves through the already volatile crowd. Protesters, fueled by frustration and sorrow, tried to force their way into GPHC's compound, escalating tensions. The tragic discovery of Adrianna's body in the pool of the Doubleday Hotel last week, hours after she was reported missing, has ignited national outrage, especially after allegations surfaced that police initially prevented family members from searching the premises. Medical professionals and concerned citizens urgently appeals to the protesters to remain peaceful, reminding them that GPHC is an active hospital with oxygen tanks and vulnerable patients inside. They warned that any fires, loud disruption, or blockages would endanger lives by preventing emergency services from accessing the compound. Protests also erupted at the Guyana Police Force headquarters in Ivleary and in front of ministry buildings as citizens demand justice. As the nation awaited the findings of the autopsy, which could bring crucial answers and possible some closure to Adrianna's grieving family and a country demanding justice, these events unfolded. Today, opposition member of parliament staged a walkout from parliament and joined ongoing protests outside the Ivleary police station headquarters and GPHC, demanding justice for Adrianna Young and accountability within the force.
A number of MPs have walked out of Parliament and are here to join with the protesters in making a statement, as you would have been told, that the Speaker has disallowed a motion from the Human Rights Association. The Speaker has disallowed a motion from the opposition. The Speaker has disallowed motions that has to do with a debate on Adrianna Young.
Opposition Member of Parliament Amanza Walton Desir in Parliament today urged the National Assembly to urgently debate a petition calling for an independent investigation into the actions of the Guyana Police Force following the tragic death of 11-year-old Adrianna Young. The petition, submitted by the Guyana Human Rights Association and backed by concerned citizens, demands an internationally led probe, the temporary leave of the police commissioner, and comprehensive police reforms to restore public trust. However, Speaker of the House Mansour Nadir ruled that the petition could not be debated due to its late submission, explaining that the clerk must review all petitions before being added to the order paper. The petition arrived at 9:32 a.m. just before the Assembly convened.
Submission came in at 9:32 a.m. this morning. At that time, the clerk was on his way here, like most of you, tied up in the congestion we've had. And when we met, the clerk hadn't had an opportunity to review that petition, so it wasn't able to make it onto the order paper. So just to reaffirm that a petition was submitted to the clerk, but no submission to the Speaker for onward transmission on the order paper.
Opposition members of Parliament expressed disappointment with the Speaker of the National Assembly.
And the Speaker today did a great disservice to this nation. He did great harm. He made the situation actually worse in putting forward or moving forward with the PPP agenda. What should occur is that the motion is a good motion. It is a motion that is intended to protect our little children, especially our girls, young girls and boys, whenever these situations occur. And as such, that motion should have been allowed on the floor. We should have had a debate, and we should have come up together as a parliament with a proper solution to this situation. That is all we were asking for. To have a system in place, that an emergency system, an AMBER, as we call it, an AMBER alert system to deal with missing children. That is what the motion, that is the crux of the matter.
The motion was seeking or just requesting that a system be put in place that whenever there is an abduction or anything that resembles an abduction of a child in Guyana, be it on the coast of Guyana or the hinterland of Guyana, that a system be put in place for rapid deployment of resources, being human and otherwise, to make sure that the child is safeguarded or children are safeguarded. But what we have seen is that is not of importance to the People's Progressive Party. What is of importance to them is to show that they can save their face and that the bad job that they are doing, they want to claim that it's a good job. They have not put a system in place.
The petition and the walkout have intensified national scrutiny over alleged police misconduct and calls for sweeping reforms. Member of Parliament Geeta Chandan Edmund said justice must be served.
It's hard. heart-wrenching, and it is very painful, devastating to see the way in which the police has handled this matter. As a former magistrate, I can tell you that the police, they have reached the law, they have reached their own standard operating procedures in which they have handled this matter. And that is very, very troubling. The president has used the term that heads must roll, and heads must roll. Those who are complicit, those who are accessory, they have to feel the brunt of the law, the full brunt of the law.
Today's walkout by opposition member of parliament and their participation in the protest have sent a powerful message that the call for justice for Adrianna Young will not be silenced. As the nation watches, the demand for accountability within the Guyana Police Force grows louder, fueled by grief, outrage, and a collective insistence that Adrianna's life must not be forgotten. With public pressure mounting, all eyes are now on the government and law enforcement agencies to act decisively and restore trust in the system. On a different note, Vice President Dr. Bharrat Jagdeo said he welcomed the United States Department of State's 2025 International Narcotics Control Strategy Report, which commended Ghana's strengthened efforts in drug enforcement, anti-money laundering, and transparency. The report highlighted major achievements, including the largest drug seizure in Ghana's history in 2024, 4.4 metric tons of cocaine valued at $195 million, and the interception of a narco submarine off Ghana's coast. While acknowledging some recycled or inaccurate information, Dr. Jagdeo called the overall report fairly positive.
As I read the report, and I'm seeing very different things than they saw. So they pointed out to the problems. They pointed out the problems that we have, the report. Some of it may be inaccurate information, a bit unfair, but on the whole, I thought it was a fairly good report.
The Vice President admitted that while there are ongoing challenges with corruption in public office, the government has taken concrete action. He also criticized opposition figures for focusing only on the negatives and stressed the government's credibility, noting that public officials at all levels, including the Ghana Defense Force officers and a senior police officer, have been charged with criminal activities.
It mentions in this report as a negative that some of our soldiers, in two separate incidents in July, 4 GDF officers were charged with trafficking a total of 213 kilograms of cannabis. So what did it show here? That when we find people in state agencies who are involved, they get charged. It mentions in the report too, the 200-odd charges that were Brutus, the investigation and the charges he faced. So when we find corruption, even at the highest levels in the police force, you have action taken.
The Vice President said the report further praised Ghana's cooperation with U.S. agencies, the strengthening of regional security ties, and the sharp increase in narcotics seizure by the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, which rose by 394% compared to the previous years. Stick around when we return. Minister Edhill issues a final warning to truckers, remove vehicles or face confiscation, and nation mourns. As students return to class, Adrianna Young lies still on autopsy table.
Mother's Day, Digicel is turning up the love and cooling things down.
Imagine surprising mom with a brand new fully stocked fridge.
Digicel is making it a reality.
You can win one of 4 fully stocked fridges
worth over $500,000.
Just top up with $1,000 or more for a chance to win weekly. It's that easy.
Top up today. The more you top up, the more chances you have to win.
Happy Mother's Day from Digicel. Better connected.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to apply for registration? You are required to visit the GCOM registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons in your area of residence to apply for registration. Office hours, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 12 and 13 to 16 hours 30. Friday, 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at another address since you were registered. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Public Works Minister Bishop Edgehill has issued a final warning to truckers, heavy-duty equipment operators, and business owners to remove their vehicles and machinery from Georgetown roadways, green spaces, and recreational areas by today or risk confiscation.
We will not tolerate people using these spaces that have been created for the benefit of families and children, for people to convert it to use like this. So the owners of these trucks, you have to move them immediately. If you don't, we will move them and confiscate them because you cannot continue to do this.
During an inspection of infrastructural projects on Saturday, Minister Edgehill highlighted that newly developed community spaces, including the railway embankment and the Lamaha corridor, are being obstructed by parked trucks and makeshift mechanic shops. He stressed that these areas were designed for families and children, not commercial use.
Notice is given to others who are seeking to do the same thing. There's Greenfield Road, Heroes Highway, Lamaha Street, wherever. We will not tolerate this. We got to bring this to an end.
Efforts have been made to locate the owners, but the minister made it clear that immediate action will be taken if warnings are ignored. He emphasized that the policy applies equally to businesses and small operators occupying public spaces. Edgehill said some people are using the green space to do mechanic work.
Green space that has been developed by the government of Guyana, families, children, and on this embankment, we have people who are now open a mechanic shop, parking heavy-duty trucks, and servicing those trucks on the railway embankment.
As thousands of children across the country made their way back to school this morning after the Easter holidays, uniforms crisp, school bags slung over their shoulders, there was one little girl who would never return. 11-year-old Adrianna Young, who should have been preparing to take the next big step in her young life after sitting the National Grade 6 assessment, instead lay cold and still on an autopsy table. Forensic pathologists prepared to examine her small body to determine the cause of her death, a painful task made heavier by the dreams that would now go unrealized. Forever denied of the joy of buying new books and uniforms for her entry into secondary school, Adrianna's parents are now making arrangements to lay their beloved daughter to rest forever, robbed of a future filled with hope. The news of Adrianna's death sent shockwaves across the nation, sparking outrage and grief. Across the country, students and teachers joined together to honor Adrianna's memory. Schools held special moments of silence, a touching symbol of innocence and hope now gone. In a statement issued this morning, the Ministry of Education reaffirmed its commitment to supporting grieving students and staff. Specialized trauma and grief counseling sessions began today, led by Ms. Ann Green, former head of the Child Care and Protection Agency. The sessions were held at Metamere's Primary School and Parika Salem Primary School, places Adrianna once filled with her laughter and light. These sessions are aimed at providing critical emotional support and helping the school community navigate the grieving process with care and compassion, the ministry said. The ministry also pledged to continue offering support in the days and weeks ahead, acknowledging the immense emotional toll Adrianna's death has taken. Across schoolyards and classrooms today, the heavy silence spoke louder than words. Grief clumped in the air, and hearts, both young and old, ached with the weight of what was lost. Adrianna Young's bright spirit may be gone, but her memory has sparked a nationwide call for change and a promise that her life, however short, will never be forgotten. Don't go away after the break. Suspect charged in Vancouver car ramming that killed 11 at Street Festival. And Haiti repatriates 720 nationals after Dominican crackdown on illegal settlements.
This Mother's Day, Digicel is stirring up the love and cooling things down.
Imagine surprising mom with a brand new fully stocked fridge.
Digicel is making it a reality.
You can win one of 4 fully stocked fridges
worth over $500,000.
Just top up with $1,000 or more for a chance to win weekly. It's that easy.
Top up today. The more you top up, the more chances you have to win.
Happy Mother's Day from Digicel. Better connected.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. How do smiles make fashionable faces? See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl, forget things. What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. How to apply for registration? You must visit the GCOM registration office that is responsible for your area of residence to apply for registration or name change or correction. You must be in possession of the following source documents as might be relevant: original birth certificate or valid Guyana passport for new registration, original marriage certificate and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by marriage, original deed poll and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by deed poll, original naturalization certificate and original birth certificate or valid passport in the case of naturalization. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at another address since you were registered. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In the Caribbean, Haiti repatriated 720 nationals after the Dominican Republic ordered the demolition of the illegal Haitian settlement in Mata Mosquito. Supervised by Haitian officials and supported by NGOs, buses transported the migrants back to Haiti. The operation follows rising anti-immigration sentiments and stricter Dominican migration policies, including ID checks at hospitals. Recent crackdowns have seen dozens of pregnant Haitian women and children detained across the country. More than 1.2 million migrants from across the globe crossed the Darien jungle between Colombia and Panama in recent years on their way to the U.S. The surge sparked an economic boom in some of Colombia's poorest regions, but that wave of prosperity came to a sudden halt under President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. Al Jazeera's Alexandra Rampieti reports.
Thousands of migrants used to crowd this camp on the edge of the Darien jungle. Today it feels like a ghost town. The Trump administration's crackdown on immigration has brought the flow of people here to a near standstill, and with it the boom that had transformed the local economy. Necoclí is a coastal town in northern Colombia and had become a key staging point for migrants. It has now returned to its quiet seaside self, but locals are lamenting the end of what they saw as a gold rush. Amelia Diaz-Gonzalez is a Venezuelan migrant who went from selling coffee on the street to owning a small beach shop where people heading north once camped.
The business is gone. The merchandise just sat there for too long. Some of it expired. We had to throw it away because if it doesn't sell, it spoils.
2 years ago, more than 2,500 migrants stayed here each day before entering the jungle. While criminal groups profited by controlling routes and extorting migrants, the mass movement of people also pumped money into these neglected areas. Hotels and restaurants multiplied. Many are now closed. Locals used to evict tenants to rent to migrants and invested in expanding their properties. This hotel grew from 1 to 4 floors, most of them now empty.
Stores selling jungle survival gear like tents, boots, stoves, even waterproof bags for iPhone popped up everywhere here. But when the migration stopped, they were left with shelves full of stock they can't sell.
Shop owner Carlos Vélez says believing the boom would last was a mistake, and the sudden stop caught everyone off guard.
Of course, we had some fear, but we never thought it would be so drastic. We thought it would slow down gradually, but it hit us all at once.
But he says the wave of migrants also changed how he sees the world.
In my shop, I serve people from India, Bangladesh, Nepal, many other countries. Every day was a surprise. I made many friends, especially with Africans. We're still in touch.
As locals return to their old life, many quietly hope the migrants and the prosperity they brought might one day return. Alessandro Rampietti, Al Jazeera, Necoclí.
Murder charges have been filed against a suspect in a car ramming that killed 11 people at a Filipino street festival in Canada's Vancouver City. Prosecutors said. Al Jazeera's John Hendren reports.
In Vancouver, spontaneous memorials appear at the scene of a celebration that turned suddenly tragic. Near the end of a Filipino cultural event that had hosted thousands over the course of the day on Saturday, witnesses say a black Audi SUV abruptly veered into the crowd.
He just pushed the gas all the way through the whole block right there, crashing into everyone in his way. I heard a bunch of crashing and stuff. Then I walked down not even half the block. I just saw a bunch of bodies and everything.
Police say the ramming attack was the act of a lone man.
This is the darkest day in our city's history. Last night, as thousands of members of Vancouver's Filipino community gathered for an important cultural celebration, the actions of a single person shattered our collective sense of safety. It is impossible to overstate how many lives have been impacted forever by this lone individual.
Investigators say they do not believe it was an act of terrorism. Police in Vancouver say they've arrested a 30-year-old man with a long history of interactions with police and healthcare officials regarding mental health. They say many people are injured at 9 separate hospitals, and there could be more deaths recorded in the coming hours and days. Canadians far away in the capital of Ottawa were shocked at the unusual violent attack.
Devastated by it. It's awful news. Awful that such a thing would happen. Tragic.
You can't blame the security because they did everything they could do, and the people deserve a break. Everybody has a right to celebrate in this country. And to disrupt the whole thing, it's pathetic.
As many Canadians mourn an assault on one of the largest minority communities in British Columbia, police say they're searching for a motive. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Ottawa.
Iran's supreme leader has ordered a thorough investigation into a massive explosion at the country's most important port. At least 40 people have been killed and over 1,200 wounded. Emergency teams continue to battle flames more than a day after the blast. Al Jazeera's Tawhid Asadi reports.
Fires still burn a day after a massive explosion rocked one of Iran's most important transportation hubs. Warnings of toxic smoke forced many people in and around Shahid Rajai port in the city of Bandar Abbas to stay indoors. With the death toll rising, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian visited survivors in hospital.
We promise our dear people that we are wholeheartedly at their service. We will do everything in our power to prevent such incidents from happening. And if they occur again, since accidents do happen, we must strive to manage them better than we did this time.
Schools and businesses were forced to close. Emergency teams helped all those they could.
What matters most to us is providing psychological and emotional support, helping with recovery, and enabling people to regain their strength. Our teams stand beside the victims and those affected, working to enhance resilience and assist in stabilizing their conditions.
In a show of solidarity, Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered the dispatch of several aircraft carrying expert teams to help fight the fire. Other countries also pledged support. Iran has denied claims the explosion was linked to mishandling of fuel and chemicals allegedly intended for weapons. Firefighting teams are still working to bring the fire under control, relief operations continue, and residents remain on edge. The focus now shifts to completing investigations, finding answers, supporting those affected, and repairing the damage. Tawhid Asadi, Al Jazeera, Tehran.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3D Weather Forecast. And that's CIP-TV2 Headline News for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.